Welcome to Nasdaq Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, global markets reporter at Nasdaq. Joining us for this segment, we have Humpty Calderon, head of community at Ontology, to discuss if we should trust a centralized tech superpower with sensitive personal data. Humpty, it's great to have you with us. Welcome to Trade Talks.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
You got it. And tell us about the work being done at Ontology.
Yeah, so Ontology is a Web3 project that's been building out this trust layer for Web3. So really building out the infrastructure, both in terms of the identity and reputation side and decentralized data as well. They've developed quite a few different products in the space of DID, with OntID, OScore, Wing Finance, Saga, all of them seeking to decentralize the way that we use identity and reputation in the Web3 space.
How does Ontology establish trustless, decentralized applications that store and share sensitive information securely?
Could you repeat the question? Sorry, I didn't catch that.
How does Ontology establish trustless, decentralized apps that store and share sensitive information securely?
Yeah. So Ontology works with this standard, this open standard called DID, which has been created by the W3C Foundation. And it is an open, private, composable, interoperable protocol that allows for the use of identity systems, like I've mentioned with OntID and with OScore, but it does so all in ways that are private and secure because they're encrypted and they live off chain, right? So the only people that can access this information, the only people that can interact with this is the person who is creating this identity and the person who is generating this data. So they are signed using your Web3 wallet.
So what are the real world applications of blockchain technology and enhancing privacy use cases? How is this being used? Is it being deployed right now?
Yeah, so you can look at some of the different projects that have been building out with decentralized identity and reputation, such as like what Ontology has been building with OntID, allowing for you to be able to own your identity across a variety of platforms. So the best example that we like to use is if you think of something like what Facebook and Google is doing, right? Where you create these identities, but these identities are not yours, right? At any moment when this company decides to shut down your identity, your user, they could definitely do so. And all the data that's created on the back end from that is not yours. It is all being, it's owned by these corporations, and they are then able to monetize them, aggregate them, and so on. With these decentralized identity solutions, it works quite the opposite of that. So people can then generate these identities for themselves, use them across a variety of Web3 applications, say using DeFi, for example, or across a DAO, like if you're a contributor to an organization in decentralized ways, or in NFT marketplaces as well. And all of that data that's being generated on the back end is yours. And you can then permissionlessly give access to others to be able to use that data and to potentially even monetize it as well.
That's really interesting because that could potentially impact business models as we know it for today's social media companies, how advertising works, how even targeted marketing towards us as consumers looks. I mean, it totally changes the model.
Yeah, there's quite a few interesting projects in the space right now, especially those that are working in the space of social, of how they can create these more user-owned platforms where you create an identity, you connect with friends, you are able to create circles of friends within those networks that are more aligned to who you are and the type of different projects and types of communities that you seek to associate with in the Web3 space and also in the social space.
And is that actively happening now for the average user such as myself who's only access to Web2 social sites? How does it work now? Is it mainstream at any point yet?
Yeah, so that's the stage that we're at, right? So a lot of the conversations that have been happening over the last year are at the infrastructure layer. How do we allow for these protocols and platforms to be able to communicate with one another, and for people to be able to generate these accounts and to be able to associate relationships with these accounts and be able to own this data and use this data in ways that are private and secure? The application layer of it is what we are starting to build. So you can definitely start using these applications. If you have a Web3 wallet, you can sign into these applications, start using it. But it is not very user friendly. And we realize this, and we want to take this next leap into, being able to onboard more people that are used to using maybe the more traditional social sites. Then we need to create platforms that are very much akin in terms of the way that they function to those sites, but still supported by this backend infrastructure and technology that's being built by developers like Ontology.
All right, Humpty, we appreciate the insight. Thanks for joining us on Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq.
Thank you.